All right, thank you for joining me today. I am Dave Hultin, and I am your AI for Printers workshop host. And today's workshop, as always, is about something very specific that we all face. But before we get started, I want to ask you a question. And the question is, think of the last time a big order landed and your whole shop just rearranged itself around that job. Somebody worked the weekend, a rush charge got absorbed to make that date happen, maybe two other jobs got pushed back, and everybody agreed it was worth it because that account is your biggest. And nobody ever checked whether it actually was. So hold on to that feeling for a moment because whatever that account is in your shop, today is about finding out what it actually earns for you. So let me introduce you to Carol. Carol is a fictitious printer, but her situation will almost certainly sound familiar to you. She's run her commercial print shop for about 15 years, 10 people, and she still handles the selling herself, which means she handles it between everything else. Well, it's Thursday afternoon, and she has just moved two jobs out of the way to make room for that catalog. And she does this every fall. The retailer who prints that catalog, that's her biggest customer, and everyone in the shop knows it. It's on the whiteboard, it has its own weekend on the calendar. Well, on her way out, she walks past a form order for a clinic group that has ordered every few weeks for years and has never once asked for her favor. In her system, that customer, that's a house account. That's the label for a customer handled by customer service instead of by the owner. And here's the part that stings. Carol can tell you the catalog's number without looking it up. She could not tell you what that clinic has been worth to her. This is not a memory problem. Order size is the only number that's easy to see. So order size decides who gets the weekend and who gets the rush, who gets the attention. And in 15 years, nobody had asked what saying yes to that catalog actually costs. Well, Carol didn't need a bigger customer. She needed to know what each account actually earns once the overtime and the rush shipping and all the bumped jobs come out. So the weekend goes to the account that earns it. So we are going to be interacting in today's workshop. So let's practice being interactive now. How many of you can relate to Carol? Do you have any Carol thoughts going through your head right now? If so, find that chat and just let me know that you have had your Carol moment. So we are going to be interactive. So just go ahead and drop a note in the chat to say you know Carol, or maybe you don't. So I'll just wait for a moment, make sure everyone can find that chat. All right, not seeing a chat come in yet, but do keep an eye on that because we will need that later on here. So whether or not you feel like Carol, we're all going to have those moments. Here's what Carol learned. The problem was never the big account asking for the weekend. Big accounts will always ask, but what Carol actually needed was to know which one earns her attention. So the asking stopped making the decisions on its own. Most printers need that same thing. Now, most printers will rank customer by order size because it's the only number that's easy to see. And your estimating system reports what a job billed and what it should have earned on a clean run, but it never subtracts the overtime or the rush shipping or the reprints nobody billed anyone for, or all those jobs that get moved out of the way to make room for that big important job. Those costs are real and they land somewhere. They just never land on that customer's line. So the loudest account gets priority and it may not have earned that priority. The quiet, dependable ones, they get nothing because they never ask for anything. Well, that's actually good news because a customer ranking is something you can build, and we're going to do that together over these next 30 minutes. So as we get ready to do that, here is what today is really about. Marketing Ideas for Printers helps your company grow by making you the printer that runs AI with structure while everyone else is still guessing, so your sales and marketing actually move forward. So in the next 30 minutes, you'll get a real feel for what working with an AI workflow is like. You're going to get the workflow itself in just a few moments. We'll use it together. And then you can take it with you and finish running it for your shop after the workshop. So this is a real working tool that you'll put to use today. Now let's take a moment to get ourselves oriented. There's a simple version of this prompt, and you've probably heard me talk about it at aiforprinters.com or through my posts on LinkedIn. That'll tell you what one job really costs you in overtime or rush shipping and rework. Some of you have asked for the upgraded version. That will compare two of your accounts across 3 years and tell you which one has actually earned more for you. And we'll take a quick look at both, and then we're going to get to the AI workflow version. That's what today is really about. That ranks every account you have, and more importantly, that's what gives you the momentum. So here is the simple prompt. Don't use it. It's too basic and there's too much freedom for AI to wander around in the way it responds, but it is a useful reference point. Take a look at how short it is. Just kind of keep that in your mind because that's the way most people use AI today. Here's an upgraded version of that prompt. And the type gets a little bit smaller in here, so it might be a little harder to see, but you'll see if that first line, it says, we're giving AI a role. You are a cost accountant, and we're giving a very specific role to do for you. It takes on that specific role and asks you to provide more context. So there's more structure, and you're going to get better results. And that's a pattern that you'll see. The more you give AI to work with, and the more structure it has, the happier you are going to be with those results. And this is the one you came here for. This is the customer lifetime value model workflow prompt. This is what guides AI to do real work with you step by step. When you run this prompt, you'll see that it'll take 3 years of invoice history and sort it out by what each account is leaving behind for you. It'll help you find that biggest account and that one quiet, steady one, and it'll compare them side by side. You'll see 4 groups, and that'll change how each customer gets handled. You'll get a monthly watch list that flags accounts whose ordering has shifted, and maybe some warning rules in there that don't flag that seasonal account for being seasonal. And here's the biggie. You'll get a first action for every flagged account. We'll get to it very quickly here, but just a few more things to note about it. This prompt looks a lot longer than the others because it is. And to be clear, that doesn't mean it's harder for you. It actually means that AI has more to work with, which actually means there are fewer decisions for you to make to get quality work done. So I've done the heavy lifting here. I've put in the time and effort to building this workflow so that you don't have to. You get to benefit from that work. Now, you don't have to read it. You don't have to understand how it's written. You just copy it, paste it, and let it ask you what it needs. Okay, so let's put some numbers on this. And I want to be clear up front. These are Carol's numbers from her run of the workflow. It's not a promise that you're going to get the same thing because AI is going to customize itself to you. But the workflow is going to build your shop's rankings from your shop's numbers, whatever they are. So if we take a look at this, row 1, what an account really earns, this is the one that matters. Without AI, Carol's system reported sales and the gross profit built on the assumption of it being a job that's running exactly as expected. Never subtracts what the account costs to keep. With the workflow, she's adjusted contributions for every account. What's known from records is kept separate, and what's estimated and what it deliberately didn't price, those are all sectioned off so you can really see exactly what that account is contributing. Row 2, how about that customer that's quietly leaving? Without AI, you'll find out when the year is over and the number will have been decreasing all year long. With the workflow, an account gets flagged the month its ordering pattern breaks. On Carol's 22 accounts, it flagged 5. 4 were sliding the wrong way, 1 was growing, and the 4 had already given up a very substantial amount of annual sales. And then the cost to build it. This is the kind of account profitability work a consultant would charge thousands of dollars for and take weeks to walk you through. Carol built hers in an afternoon from an invoice export she already had at her fingertips. So that's a giant leap in what we can expect from AI, and we're going to work through it together right now. So it is hands-on time, so get ready with your favorite AI tool. That could be Chat GPT, Claude, Gemini, Microsoft Copilot. Any of them will work. And if you don't have that favorite yet, just go to chatgpt.com and create an account. It takes about 30 seconds. And the free version will work for everything we'll be doing today. Now, when you see the workflow prompt, it's going to be tempting to just copy and paste and go. But there are two things that I want to point out before you get started. So wait for me so that we can start together. And I want to be very clear about the goal of this hands-on part of the workshop. Workflow prompts are more thorough than simple prompts, so they run longer. The goal is not to finish it right now. You can do that later today and later this week. The goal is to get a feel of what it's like to work with an AI workflow prompt. So let's walk through the steps. It truly is as simple as getting the workflow and copying and pasting. You'll start by going to mi4p.com/workflow. And let me drop that link in the chat for you. So that is in the chat. And once you're there, just click the copy button. And you'll see that button just like I'm doing right here. And then you just go into your AI and paste it in as I am doing right now. Now, a few things that I just wanted to call out as we're getting started here. Just a couple of things I wanted to point out is the very first thing is once you paste in that workflow and run it, the first thing it's going to do is offer you an introduction about what we are accomplishing here. And then also it's going to give you the step-by-step plan. That's these 7 steps here. And it's going to offer a summary of the concepts. So I always like to point this out. So the question on the table is, before we begin, would you like a short summary of the key CLV, customer lifetime value, the key concepts so you understand what we'll be measuring and why? Or do you rather jump directly into step 1? You might go to step 1, but just so you can see this, if you need a little extra education about customer lifetime value or want to get a better feel about the approach that it's taking, that's your summary. Okay, and then if that makes sense, we can begin step 1. Are you ready to continue? And we will. So now AI is going to walk you through each one of those steps. Now it's your turn to participate. You and AI are going to have that conversation, and we're going to just let AI work with you. It's your job to respond to AI. AI will respond to you at each step. And at the end of each step, it will come back to you and say, here's what I learned from you. Are we on the same page? Can we continue? Now, this is a much deeper prompt. It goes a lot deeper than the typical prompt. So I'm going to just switch over to show you what that looks like when it's pre-run. And I do want to encourage you, take a few moments. We get thinking that AI gives instant answers, and it does. But this is one where it's going to be very valuable for you to spend some time with AI to actually do the work. And you can see some of this here. So we can see this is a pre-run version of that. And this is the time where I want to encourage you to run the prompt. And as you do, please continue to do the work on your own. I'm just going to point out a few things on this completely run prompt, this pre-run version of that. So here's your responses are going to be different. AI is going to customize itself to work with you. And we can just look what's going on there. And it's saying, what are our objectives? AI is presenting you what it thinks that you want to work on. And chances are it's going to be pretty close to what you would expect. But your job in each step is to do quality control. Make sure that AI is on the right path, going the right direction. And as you complete each step, once you and AI are synced up on saying, here's what that step needed to be accomplishing, then you can move on. Okay, so as you're going to keep walking through that, I'll get to the end of this very quickly here. I want to show you the end of this prompt. I do want to remind you that this is something that it is worthwhile to go deeper on this prompt, and take some time. There's not an expectation that you're going to finish it right now, but I want you to get the feel of what it's like to work with a structured workflow. That's what's on the screen. So I'm going to let that sit for a moment. I'm going to turn my camera off so you can do the work, and I'll be back with you in just a moment. I'll keep an eye on the chat if you have any questions about using that workflow. And just at about 30 to 60 seconds, I'll come back and we'll look at the end of this workflow together. One thing that I'll note, and you may experience this, maybe in a slightly different way, just depends how AI is going to pull that information out of you, is it is going to ask for 3 years of invoices for all active customers. You do need to bring that kind of information to the table. And when you do, just take an Excel file or whatever format you have, just drag it in here, which is what I did in here somewhere. I don't remember exactly where I brought it in, but that information is in there. It's just dragging it into the chat. Okay, so as you're working on that, I am going to go to the very end because this workflow, this honestly, this is one that really kind of blew me away in how thorough it was. And so I do want to get to that end here. And let me just grab the scroll and go down. I want to show you how this ends. It's really quite fascinating. So we got to the end of our work. We came up with our 3-year customer value model and customer lifetime value strategy guide. Then here is where we ended. AI offered to build a workbook for us, an Excel spreadsheet. And so I downloaded that and I'm bringing it in here. There's a lot of information in this spreadsheet. And this is what AI gave me straight out of running this workflow prompt. This is where you can see the real value that you get, not just kind of manufactured answers, but you give it good information, it's going to give you good information back. And maybe just see if I can make that just a touch bigger on the screen, because this is what it looks like when you have AI doing the work for you. If we look at the sheets in this workbook, we have the invoices that you provided. It captured those for you. And then the monthly watch list. And this is just one sample of the information that you're getting there. It identified a handful of accounts that says there's a signal here, it's a risk signal, or there's a growth opportunity. And what is the evidence? It's not just saying it blindly, it's saying, like, here's something I noticed. And what is the confidence level? Is it manufacturing information, or is it approaching that with high confidence? And then what is your suggested first action? All right, so the reason I wanted to show that workbook to you is I think sometimes we all get in the habit of saying, okay, is this information coming out of AI that I can actually use and I can actually believe and trust, or is it just me having this chat? Well, here's an actual Excel workbook that came out of it with evidence and confidence ratings, actual real information that you can use to make your sales better. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Let me get that back up on the screen here. So you just got a feel for what working with an AI workflow written specifically for printers is like. This is a much more thorough workflow than you would experience just by giving a quick answer in and quick answer out. So you almost certainly aren't going to finish it right now. That's by design. The workflow keeps going from here. You can keep finishing it later today and use it again next month. So it is a thoughtful process of you working with AI. A little bit longer of a process for you to use the AI, but you're going to get exponentially valuable results when you go through that process. All right, so that is what the experience is like when AI brings structure to the work. That's what you experience in the AI Workflow Toolkit membership. And that's a lot different than the experience most printers have with AI. Now, before I show you everything in the toolkit, let me just show you the best path to follow to get started in the toolkit. And we suggest that you start with these three workflows: the target account list workflow to focus on the right prospects, the prospecting email templates workflow to kickstart a sales conversation with those prospects, and then the sales playbook to lead prospects through your sales process. And then, of course, they're going to come on board as customers, and then that's where a customer lifetime value workflow like we use today, that also becomes part of how you continue in the toolkit. But the three workflows that are on the screen, that's the first 30 days that we suggest. That gives you an amazing starting point. Everything else is still there so that you can use it later. And once you've got those three workflows working, here's what else is available. You'll find more than 60 productivity workflows to help you with lead generation, customer management, sales process, marketing strategy, and really a lot more. Each workflow is built specifically for printers, and it will help you do daily work better and faster, just like the workflow that we use today. And added to that, there are over 60 performance workflows to help you improve what's working. Those are things like increasing your sales conversion rate, improving retention and marketing ROI, and enhancing your team productivity. Each workflow is built around the thinking of an expert in that specific area. So really, you're getting thousands of dollars of world-class consultant level advice based on the wisdom of that expert in the field. Productivity gets the work done. Performance makes the work better. And the execution piece is the roundtable rhythm. Every other Thursday, members do exactly what we did just here right now. We'll pick a workflow, we'll run it together, we share what works, and help each other apply it. And if you're just getting started in the toolkit, we'll run the target account list workflow to make sure you get started in the right direction. Here's the big win. You will be growing in a community of printers using AI with structure. When we worked through the customer lifetime value model workflow, you got a taste of what existing members will experience at this afternoon's roundtable. And all three of those pieces work together. Productivity gets the daily work done. Performance improves what's working. Execution is what keeps it moving. That's what produces results. And that's really what we're after. We're not just doing AI just for the sake of using AI. We are after results. So there are two ways forward. They're both strong options. Path A is the AI Workflow Toolkit membership. So if today felt like a clear fit, that's how you continue. I mean, just look at what we accomplished in a short amount of time. The simple prompt tells you what one job really costs. The prompt upgrade compares two accounts across 3 years. And today's workshop ranks every account. And in Carol's case, that means 3 years of invoice history sorted by what each one left behind. 4 groups that change how each customer gets handled, and a monthly watch list that flagged 5 accounts out of 22. That's the kind of account profitability work a consultant would charge thousands of dollars for and take weeks to walk you through. And you leave with it in your hands, ready to build. Now, the workshop builds your ranking once. The AI Workflow Toolkit membership, that gives you the whole workflow library and a roundtable every 2 weeks where we go deep one-on-one together. So the account that stopped over serving this month, that's your first win. It's not the only one. In your first 30 days as a member, you'll run one workflow end-to-end on your own numbers and know what a single account actually left behind last year. It's not a framework for finding out. That is a figure that you can act on. That's how you move forward quickly and efficiently. So that's $199 a month or $19.99 a year, and you'll know in the first month or two if that's being helpful. And you can cancel at any time. The link for that is mi4p.com/start-AI, and I'll drop that into the chat in addition to what you see on the screen there. Path B, that's the print growth assessment. So if today made sense, but you're not sure where it fits in your shop, the team will spend 30 minutes with you free to help you figure that out. Just drop your name and email address in the chat and we'll follow up. And that assessment covers AI as well as all of the services from Marketing Ideas for Printers. And we can help you figure out the right next move across any of our services. So pick whichever is the best fit for you. Both of them are real next steps. So if you're ready to stop using AI as a toy and start using it for meaningful work, then remember what I said at the start. Marketing Ideas for Printers helps your company grow by making you the printer that runs AI with structure, while everyone else is still guessing, so your sales and marketing actually move forward. So remember Carol? Her story doesn't have to be your story. The next time you clear the schedule for an account, and you already know whether it earns it because you have the ranking in front of you. What each customer actually left behind after the overtime and the rush shipping and the jobs that get bumped to make room, that shows up. Those numbers stay inside your building and priority goes to the accounts that earned it. And the account that's quietly sliding the wrong way, that gets caught the month the sliding starts, not at the year after. So here is your one job. Before you leave today, pick your biggest account by sales and one quiet, steady one you never think about. Run the customer lifetime value model workflow this week on just those two and find out which one has actually earned more. You don't have to rank the whole customer list at once. You can, but you just have to check the one that's top of mind. That'll give you some good, a really good starting point. Now, to wrap things up, I'd like to share why I do these workshops. I'm doing this because I've spent my whole career helping printers succeed, and I've never seen a shift like AI. There is a big divide forming. Printers running with AI with structure, they're on one side. Printers still guessing, they're on the other. And I want to make sure you're on the right side. Marketing Ideas for Printers helps your company grow by making you the printer that runs AI with structure, while everyone else is still guessing, so your sales and marketing actually move forward. That's why we built the AI Workflow Toolkit membership, and that's why I'm here today. And that's why I want you to take what you saw today and put it to work this week. And that brings us to the end of the workshop itself. Everything you need to start using today's customer lifetime value model workflow is now complete. The link to get started, that's on the screen, mi4p.com/start-ai. Without structure, this just becomes one more good idea that fades away. With structure, you've got a system to move forward. If you're watching the recording, you are in a good place to take what you've seen today and apply it on your own time. For those of you that are still here live, I'm going to stop the recording and stick around for a few minutes. I can answer your questions and help you think through how this applies to your business. So stick around as I end the recording.